Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, so we are a day removed from the Atlanta and better 400 NASCAR Cup Series race, and 2 days removed from the Xfinity and the truck race. So we're going to do a recap of the Atlanta weekend. We've had time to kind of decompress, kind of time to muddle over things that happened. Got a day of XM satellite NASCAR radio to kind of hear some of the checkered flags, black flags on TMD, and hear people's thoughts on Speedway, and then on Trading Paint, and then with the On Track with Daniel Trotta and Larry Mack. I got to listen to all of them yesterday. So, first off, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. Qualifying was rained out. We're going to kind of run down kind of the results and things that had happened during the truck race, Xfinity, and Cup race. So, stage one, we had Chris Eckes win in it, Zane Smith, Crandon Finger, Matt Crafton, Matt DiBenedetto, Ty Majeski, Stuart Friesen, Ben Rhodes, Chase Purdy, Jake Garcia. In stage two was Matt Crafton get the victory, followed by Ty Majeski. Now, Thor Sports trucks stayed out through stage one. At the end of stage two is when they finally pitted. Those two stages were short enough they could do that. One of the other crew chiefs, I don't remember who it was now, said that he didn't have the balls to try that. But there were so many caution laps that it made it work for him. Third was John Hunter, followed by Ben Rhodes, Corey Heim, Zane Smith, Tyler Ankrum, Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen, and Nick Sanchez. So in stage one, we had one caution for 5 laps. Stage two, we had one caution for 5 laps. In stage three, in that truck race, we had 9 cautions, 11 total for the race. That got just, oh my God, the aggression of these truck drivers. I know some of them are inexperienced. Combination of the aggression and the inexperience. Lead changes, we had 17 among 9 drivers. The longest green flag, we had 24 laps to start the race, and then a 17 and a 12 lapper during the race. That was it on the green flag stints between cautions. John Hunter led 53 laps, Chris Eckes 35, Matt Crafton 29. We had 25 trucks on the lead lap when the race was over. We had 30 trucks within 6 laps. Like I said, Thor Sports stayed out for stage 1 and stage 2. Caden Hunnigan had a really big save. That kid can sure wheel a truck. He had a really big save in it. He was able to keep going. Now, with 20 to go, there was a caution. Jack Wood spun. You could not walk between Jack Wood's truck and Chris Eckes' truck. The winner of the race was that close to being gone. But yeah, he was able to miss that and come back and win that race. We did have an incident on pit road between Corey Heim, Stuart Friesen, and Colby Howard. Again, everybody has so many different pit strategies because tires weren't wearing out. So you had like Thor Sports stayed out in 2 stages. You had guys getting gas only, guys with 2 tires, guys with 4 tires. You just had that in and out, in and out. You had it all weekend, and caused an accident on pit road. There wasn't a whole lot of damage from it, but there was little fenders rubbing. Now, the one thing that I noticed big time for the whole weekend was the top lane was dominant till about into stage 2, and then the bottom lane came in. I just thought, okay, this is the truck race, the first race Saturday. So that bottom lane will be in for the Xfinity race. Ah, Xfinity race was the same way. I'm like, what the hell? That made no sense to me because there's already rubber down. What else big at time happened? Yeah, I guess that was it. So the top 10 in the race was Chris Eckes, rookie Nick Sanchez getting 2nd place, good for him. Followed by John Hunter, Bailey Curry, number 41 Nice Motorsports, finishing 4th. Hell of a run for Nice Motorsports and Bailey Curry. Followed by Ben Rhodes, Matt DiBenedetto, another top 10 for Chase Purdy of KBM, Timmy Hill, Matt Crafton, and Jack Wood coming back for a 10th place finish. So both KBM trucks in the top 10. My checkered flag for the truck race goes to Bailey Curry and Nice Motorsports at number 41, finishing 4th. Best career finish for him. My black flag goes to that stage 3. Good God, that stage 3 was rough to watch. There was just so much aggression, so much people taking chances they didn't need to be taken. And we saw that also the Xfinity race. The Cup race, we didn't see that. Because it's almost like the higher up the food chain you get, the more experience you have, the more you realize what you can and can't do. As for the Xfinity race, Again, qualifying was rained out on Friday. Stage 1 was Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed, Jonathan Nemechek, Chandler Smith, Riley Herbst, Brett Moffitt, Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Sieg, Cole Custer, Justin Haley. 5 cautions in Stage 1 before the stage break. That was rough to watch. The first 47 laps of this event, 33 under caution. That includes stage break. 14 green flag laps. In 86 laps, which is both first and second stage, 55 caution, 31 green. We had points in that stage 1. Cautions, breathing cautions, breathing cautions. Lap 13 caution went from lap 13 to 24. They should have red flagged it at that point. I'm sorry, they should have. Oh no, so that was the second caution. Lap 2 or 3 it came out. They ran off like a 10 laps. They should have red flagged it instead of under caution. Lap 13 caution, 13 to 24. Josh Williams was involved in it. They came down pit road, put on Barabon. Barabon's like duct tape. It's a little sturdier, bigger pieces, but the gist of it is like kind of like it used to be duct tape. 200-mile-an-hour tape, they call it. Barabon. Well, it's only 45 degrees, and that shit's got to be warm. So, obviously, DGM, a smaller team, people either didn't realize this, didn't care, whatever the case was. Put Barabon on it to fix it, to get back out there, run some laps. As they're driving down pit road, piece of the Barabon flies off. Okay. Goes down the backstretch, goes around the track. Piece of Barabon flies, another piece comes off. They take the green. Another piece came off the car, I think, and then another caution flag. Well, they told Josh Williams to park it in the garage, bring it to the garage. We're done because stuff flying off, which is part of the rule. NASCAR put the rule out, or the rule was out there. Well, apparently his spotter Reed Sorensen and Josh Williams didn't understand the rule, and when he was told to take it to the garage and park it, he thought that meant park it on the front stretch, on the start-finish line. So he parks it on the start-finish line in lap 28 and gets out and walks to the infield. Excuse me? Why don't you just walk up to NASCAR and go like that? I mean, that's literally what you just done. And then he waves at he had said on TMD, he called in yesterday, he said he knew the flagman and stuff, so he waved at him, and then that kind of got the crowd up, so he started waving at the crowd. He comes across pit road. I'm not sure whose pit stall he walked through, and somebody said something to him about, he's like, oh, they can find me all they want, I can't afford it. And so it's like, I was really put off by this. And I said in the video I did about it, I wasn't going to root for him at all. I didn't know this guy, I didn't know who he was, I knew the name, I knew what team he drove for. I could not have picked him out of the lineup at all. And then this all happened, I'm like, fuck this guy, I'm not going to root for this guy at all. I'm going to root against this guy, actually. And then people were calling in a TMD for the black flag, checkered flags. He was my black flag. I called in about 7:40, 7:45-ish. Or maybe it was a little earlier than that, because I called him before I got to work. Rob from Missouri, that's me. And so I gave my black flag, which was Josh Williams and his instance and stuff, and I think he should have been suspended. Well, about 7:45-ish, they have a call to the hotline. Josh Williams. Even Bagman was like, Josh Williams is not the driver. He's like, yeah, oh, okay. So they postponed the calendar and took his call. He was talking about everything. And just hearing him on there talk about it, and how in the heat of the moment kind of deal that, you know, he understands if something happens, you know, he shouldn't have done that and all this. I'm like, well, damn, this guy's actually not half bad. So I actually followed that up with the video I did with a driver profile as well. So make sure you check that out as well. Good racer in the late model series. Half of his late model starts were top 10s. But yeah, that was the middle of stage 1. So stage 2, we had Parker Clearman, Riley Herbst, Brandon Jones, Sheldon Creed, Anthony Alfredo, Ryan Sieg, Josh Berry, Austin Hill, Cole Custer, Jeremy Clements. We had 4 cautions in stage 2. Stage 3, we had 3 cautions, total of 12 for 68 laps, 13 lead changes among 8 drivers. The longest green flag, the 2 longest green flag runs we had was 32 laps from lap 124 to lap 155, and then lap 87 through 117 of 31. Everything else was like less than double digits in green flag runs. Austin Hill led 103 laps. Riley Herbst 41. Anthony Alfredo 18. I'm sorry, Anthony Alfredo 18. Riley Herbst 11. My bad. Top 10 of the race. We had 25 cars on the lead lap. We had 26 cars that were running at the end of the race. Austin Hill won the race. 3 out of 5 for him this year. Amazing. Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Truex. Ryan Truex, 3rd place. Part-time guy in the 19 car for Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs' cars have won the other 2 races besides what Austin Hill has done. Ryan Truex has been right there. Part-time schedule. Love for this guy to get sponsored and get full-time, especially in a ride like this Joe Gibbs car. He's got some uber talent. It is Martin Truex Jr.'s brother. Parker Kligerman was 4th. Riley Herbst. Yeah. The end of this race, if you haven't seen it, go find it and watch it. That was fucking amazing. You had Hemrick on the outside, come down into Austin Hill. Austin Hill's sideways. You had freaking Parker Kligerman backing across the start-finish line. There's always been a saying, people joke around about, let's just go backwards across start-finish line on fire. He was backwards, wasn't on fire, but he was backwards across start-finish line. Austin Hill had it dead sideways, was able to save it, was able to get the win over Daniel Hemrick. Riley Herbst was 5th, Brett Moffitt, Josh Berry, John Hunter Nemechek, Sam Mayer, and Justin Haley. My black flag goes to Josh Williams for parking his car on the racetrack. Again, after hearing that on TMD, I'm not going to root against him. I'm going to root for him. I'm going to kind of keep an eye on his progression this year. It's a top 15, top 20, what he's been doing. That car is probably a top 20, 25 car. So we'll see what he does. We'll see when the penalty comes out either later today or tomorrow, what that is. I know it's going to be something. I know Denny Hamlin tweeted out he would pay his fine. And Denny even said that on Action's Detrimental podcast. I listened to part of it last night. That's going to be the most listened to podcast at this point ever. I listened to part of it yesterday. And he said that he would do that. And he's done things like that. There was a team, 32 team back in Fast Motorsports, whatever it was, a few years ago, when Matt DiBenedetto drove for him. They didn't have money for tires, and didn't went in and paid their tire bill. So they raced that weekend, which I thought was pretty cool. So he said he would pay the fine for him, which is kind of neat that Denny's going to do that. I know there's a lot going on this week with Denny announcing that he's going to not just pay the fine, that he's going to appeal it. Yeah, okay. So yeah, this ought to be fun. We have the Henry Motorsports appeal coming up. We have the Colic Racing appeal. We have Denny's appeal. We have whatever penalties come down this weekend from Josh Williams, if any. If there is a penalty, we'll have the appeal more than likely for that because he's not just going to take it. Yeah, penalty report today or tomorrow could be interesting. My guess, and I said this in the video I did about it, I'm thinking one race suspension. But we'll see what happens. I'm thinking he'll be suspended for COTA. You can't just flip your fucking finger at NASCAR like that and do what you want. And I've said this on social media and I said in the video. It's almost like people feel entitled these days. They don't have to listen to the sanction body. It'd be like walking up to an NFL referee and just spitting in his face and throwing the ball on the ground. What do you think's going to happen? I know what's going to happen. It'd be like in Major League Baseball when the umpire says you're out of first base. Go, no, dude, I was safe and just stand there. We all know what's going to happen. You're not going to be on base. But yeah, they're not going to, okay, you're right, maybe. No, it's not going to happen that way. They're in charge for a reason. It'd be like you walk with my boss and doing the same thing. I would never. I respect my boss, all my bosses. But yeah, what's going to happen? I know what happens. I've seen people get fired for shit like that. But yeah, no. I think there'll be suspension out of it. And then my checker flag goes to Anthony Alfredo. Running up front all day. Had a top 10 in Stage 2, 5th place. 14th for the day for BJ McLeod, which was amazing running that 78. On to the Cup Series. Now, there was a whole lot of boringness in Stage 2. I fell asleep during Stage 2. I missed the green flag pit stops. I need to go back and watch him. But yeah, Stage 2 was just straight green flag, single file. I remember Daytona used to be like that back in the late 90s. I'm like, holy fuck. You get out of line, you go to the back. at least stage 3, the bottom line came in more. So, where's my Cup Series stuff at? I wrote everything. Here we go. All right. So we had qualifying. We had Fords. Top 8 were all Fords. 1, 2, 3 Penske. 3, 5, 6, and 8 for Stewart-Haas. And then 4th and 7th for RFK. Joey Logano in the pole. Stage 1, Joey Logano wins. Surprise, surprise. Follow the leader. If you're the leader, you're going to win. Yeah. Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez, Martin Truex Jr., 1 caution. Stage 2, no cautions. Green flag pit stops. Need to go back and watch them. I heard they were fun. Again, I fell asleep because it was so fucking boring at that point. Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, William Byron, Chris Buescher, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Corey LaJoie. Yeah, I woke up right before the end of the stage. I'm like, sweet. I'm looking at that little tracker across top. I'm like, I haven't seen yellow for a while. What the fuck? Lead changes, 20 among 13 drivers. The fact that stage 2 went completely green was amazing. Logano led 140 laps. Brad Keselowski 47 laps. Eric Almirola 17. We all know what happened with Harvick and Chastain. Again, my opinion is in the video. You'll see across the top. Lap 190. He didn't touch him. I know Boyer, Joy, and Stewart's all like, oh my God, Chastain took out Harvick. Then they go. I love how the fact they went to commercial, come back, said, "Yo guys, we were wrong." He didn't even fucking touch him, and they showed they're real close, like they were just like that. Like I said in the video I did about it, these cars are so aero dependent. It's almost like when the air comes under comes out of the back of the diffuser. When Chastain got close to him, it's like it almost stopped that air from going out. The air went back under the car, which lifted the car up and made the car really squirrely. Because if you notice, when he got up there, the back of Harvey's car started going like this and just came around. Once these cars get loose, it's not like the old car where you could just power out of it and save it. There ain't no fucking saving these. And around he goes, took out 5 or 6 cars, went out more in the beginning there. Not Ross Chastain's fault. I heard people calling in yesterday. So when I did the video about it, I heard people calling in and saying that Ross Chastain took out Kevin Harvick. No, Ross Chastain is guilty because he was involved with Denny Hamlin last year, and then this year, Ross Chastain hasn't really done a lot wrong in any of this. His only incident happened at Gateway last year. He got into Denny got into the wall and broke a toe link. Denny's day was fucked the rest of the day, and Denny made his life a living hell of that race, and at Pocono, and in the Clash he got into him, but that was just racing some quarters. But now, according to Denny, so Denny fucking walls him at Phoenix. Poor Ross Chastain. The 8th generation watermelon farmer, poor guy. Celebrating his 1-year anniversary of his first win at COTA. He's supposed to not throw off a watermelon off the big old 291-foot tire they have, which is kind of cool. Oh, Joey Logano get the win. Brad Keselowski, the last 44 laps is going to restart on, but that last 20 laps for sure. Holy shit, those guys put on a clinic. So, we found out Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski can race side by side for a win without taking each other out. 2021 Daytona 500. Ha ha! Followed by Christopher Bell. Corey LaJoie, what a run for him, and him getting that push on Logano to get Logano up there. Because I knew the results. So, again, I was kind of behind on everything. So at about 10 to go, or 10:15 to go, I looked the results up. Went, the fuck? How'd Logano win this? So, take the white flag, Keselowski's winning. Logano's like 5th. I'm like, how the fuck does this happen? What in the world is getting ready to happen here? The shove that Logano gave, or LaJoie gave Logano, I rewatched it. I think there was one point where Logano was on the high side. Keselowski started to come up in front of him. There was plenty of room, but he went back down and gave the outside to Logano. I think if Brad would have finished going up, he wouldn't have wrecked anybody, but he would have got a hell of a push from Logano and got out front. I think Brad could have won it. But yeah, the fact that they raced side by side the way they did, respect, it was awesome. Corey LaJoie 4, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Eric Jones getting up to 8, Ty Gibbs 9th, career best finish. Kyle Busch 10th, 23 cars on the lead lap. 27 cars within 5 laps, and 28 cars finished the race. Black flag goes that last segment there, just the last 20-30 laps, the way they race side by side. Keselowski and Logano giving each other room, nobody getting too stupid with it, no one taking more than they could. My black flag goes to everybody blaming Ross Chastain for the accident that was just racing. Alright, that is the recap from Cold Atlanta. Atlanta's in the review mirror unless we have a penalty report coming out, which I think we will. If it is about Josh Williams, check out the Josh Williams driver profile, the Josh Williams parking his car on the front stretch video I did, the Ross Chastain versus Kevin Harvick video I did. And then coming up, we'll have the power rankings as we go into COTA. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.